Hello,
Recording in
hello,
progress.
hello. Yes,
Go on.
it's been in progress forever. It's finally actually getting recorded.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Let's jump in because I know you are extremely edgy about this. You can barely sit still. I know you want to talk about it and just really talk. Today it's going to be me just listening to you talk because honestly, I don't think I even have anything to say. Like, a manifesto that we are talking about, which is just like a page long. Um, clearly, clearly. So,
Not
are
even.
you going to talk about what we are talking about?
Yeah. So yeah, great to be back. Firstly, Sonali, great to see you as well. It's been a while since we've been trying to do this, but of course we haven't found the time. And we keep promising our listeners, who many ever they are, that we'll be consistent. But unfortunately, we'll promise you again that we will be consistent from now on.
I think Senthil is
All
prompting
right.
this.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, in talking about Senthil is promising, this entire video is only Senthil's opinions, Senthil's promises, Senthil's everything. Please don't give any hate to Sonali. Please don't give any hate to anybody else. This is purely me, and yeah, I mean, this is my opinions. I wanna just talk about the election manifestos and the promises that both the fighting groups have made, uh, especially with the sports section. Okay,
Yes, and
I
we'll
want
put
to
it
only focus.
nicely. We'll say both the major contesting political parties ruling India and wanting to rule India have released their manifestos and spoken about sports in a very small section, considerably slow. My opinion, of course, being India is a large country, there is a whole lot more that happens in our country besides sports. For all of us who are sports enthusiasts, it seems like it's the world, and that's our myopic view of looking at things from within the sports point of view. But yes, nevertheless, that does not take away the importance of what we are talking, because in every sector and every section, there will be somebody who's looking at everything from that perspective. Everybody from environment is looking at true environment. Everybody from sports is looking at true sports. Agriculture is looking at agriculture. So here we are talking sports and looking at where sports is, why sports is getting what it is getting, and how much it is getting. And obviously, like Senthil said, this is all his views, his opinions. And please jump in and please talk more about it. Let's make it a discussion. It's definitely not a monologue that's going to come from Senthil, though it will sound like that because he loves to get going in his flow. Over to you.
Yeah, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this is because during the election, of course, there are a lot of videos, a lot of communication and content being created about everything. But there's this one small section which comes across in every manifesto, but nobody talks about it. Even anyone from the sports industry is not talking about it. And I felt it was a necessity. I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to sort of break it down. What are these election promises? Do they make sense? Are they good for the sports industry? How are they helping the sports industry? Are they really helping? Are they not helping? And let's just break both the manifestos down. And after that, I would also give you a little bit about what I would expect, from the election manifestos, specifically with sports. All right. So let's dive right into
Senthil,
it.
you want me to just quickly summarize what's on the manifesto because it's anyways just a page long. So before you start giving your opinions, I can quickly just read it out.
Yeah, I mean, why don't you start off? Why don't you start off with BJP manifesto? Let's start with that. The incumbent government. Let's see if it's making sense, doesn't make sense. And let's go point by point. and then let's break it down. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, before we even go point by point, I think I would just quickly do a read through. This, of course, in the manifesto is Modi ki guarantee for sports development, and the vision is to strengthen sports ecosystem for Bharat to be a world leader in sports. This is where the tagline starts, of course. The first one being facilitating hosting Olympics, which is a huge one going forward for this entire last few months, where bringing in Olympic Games in 2036 and for India to bid to host is one of the bigger ones. Providing comprehensive plan for retired sports persons. This again has gained a lot of conversation where they launch new programs for sports persons, providing them with benefits like education, employment, promotion, including more traditional sports under the Khelo India, incentivizing sports goods manufacturing, which is of course great for our exports, universal access to sports infrastructure, whatever that we have, promoting sports startups, which is definitely on the rise. We are one of the few sports startups which have gained considerable, significant say in at least what's happening in sports. Um, that is all that we have as far as the BJP manifesto is considered. Coming to the Congress manifesto, which is for sports, which is again just as minuscule as it was by the earlier guys. No government in India's independent history has politicized sports as much as the present BJP NDA government, from scheduling World Cup games in select venues for overt political purposes to turning a blind eye to harassment of Indian Olympians by politically aligned persons in sports bodies. Where they are getting at is the governance and the functioning. Of course, everything that is wrong
The World Cup
is
has been,
highlighted.
yeah, the World Cup being the World Cup final being held in Narendra Modi Stadium, which was actually the
Uh,
Motera Stadium, which was
don't,
renamed as Narendra Modi.
of
Anyway,
course.
let's go there.
So the first, of course,
Go
their
there.
point being Congress will take suitable measures to ensure that the constitution of each sports body is in accordance with certain norms and principles, that elections are held according to the constitution of that body and the recommendations of the Justice Lodha Committee, and that there is adequate representation in each sports body for active players, former players, women, etc. Congress will enact a separate legislation for the registration of sports federations, bodies, associations, which will ensure full compliance with the Olympic Charter, allowing for autonomy, full accountability, and provide recourse of members and sports persons against discrimination, bias, etc., etc. Congress will provide sports scholarships of up to 10,000 per month to talented budding sports players below the age of 21. They will also ensure that at least one community sports center is in every block and municipal town, and at least one multi-sports coaching center in every district. And we will establish a National Sports Science Institute to promote research and development in sports science and training. And that's how it is. So yeah,
Yeah.
my two bits while I've just read it, and of course it's going to be over to you, but they're two different people talking about two absolutely different scenarios in sports. One is totally taking on the admin of sports, talking about the federations, associations, etc. Because of course, that's where the control is. The other one is talking about on-ground sports, talking about more centers, more traditions, more business aspects of sports, where you're talking about startups, you're talking about manufacturing hubs, you're talking about building new. Of course, both are going to build more sports centers. Like we really require a lot more sports centers. I think we haven't even managed to do justice to the ones we already have. Look at the state of the sports centers that we actually have. So, anyways, that's my two bits. Go on.
All right. Okay. All right. Where do we start? Let's start with the incumbent government. Let's start with BJP. All right. Before we start, I think I just want to tell a couple of things, right? One is administration is important. Okay. The other is that we really need to look at infrastructure. Okay. And we also need to look at support for upcoming startups and companies that are looking to develop sports in India. Okay. These are the three main areas which I would like to look at, because for me, I'm part of the startup ecosystem. I understand what people are trying to do, but there are lots of challenges, lots of challenges. All right. And that is where I want to break down both these manifestos and try to figure out which of these policies are good, which of these policies are bad, and why is there not enough clarity on any of these policies? All right. I mean, if you're dedicating a page, you might as well dedicate 2 pages to it, because there's about, on an average, 2,000 plus professional sports persons from every state. Okay. And there is at least a good 50,000 plus recreational sportsmen from every state on an average. There is also enough and more companies that are coming up that are creating job opportunities for coaches, for facility managers, for technology people. We're trying to create job opportunities in sports, but it's still very difficult to get good tech people into sports, because we don't have the bandwidth, we don't have the money, we don't have the ability to pay them the salaries that the tech companies are paying them, right? So that is where the problem is. Now, how can policy change this? How can policy improve on these things, and where can we get better clarities, right? So let's start with the incumbent government facilitating hosting Olympics. All right. 2036 bid for Olympics. Yes, I know about this. The entire Olympic city is coming up in Gujarat. All right. It's coming close to Gandhinagar, where the gift city is. It's about 30, 40 kilometers away from the gift city. All right. Now, great initiative. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would rate it 4. All right. It's a great initiative. Okay. But for me, what I see is that uh, building one center, one massive center, is really not helping sports persons across the country. Can you focus on smaller centers across the country? I think that would make a lot of sense. All right. Just to develop the ecosystem, just to develop the industry, just to develop revenue generation, as well as movable monetary cycles within various industries through the sports industry. I think we are missing that boat over here, because it's great. Will we get the 2036 Olympics? Maybe not. We are still going to build that entire ecosystem. And I had this interesting conversation once with someone, and I was asking them, why is every manifesto focusing on large scale sports infrastructure, and nobody's focusing on smaller scale infrastructure across, distributed across the country, right? And simple answer, which I guess here would apply: it's easy to be corrupt in large scale infrastructure. You can easily maximize the cost. You can easily say, Array, this was a 500 crore project, but now it has become a 700 crore project. I'm so sorry about it. It's got these delays, it's got this, it's got that, it's got that manpower issue, it's got some shit or the other. And it's very easy to manipulate costing on large scale projects. When it comes to small scale projects, it's more difficult, because every project, then it becomes like, okay, how much can you stretch, right? So most of the governments, most of the manifestos don't focus on small scale projects distributed across the country. They always focus on large scale projects, and that is something I'm absolutely not. Something I'm not in line with. But however, I'll still rate it a 4, because you know it's something And it's a belief that if we do get to host the 2036 Olympics, then definitely it would be great to have India participate in every single sport, at least field a team. And wherever we land, it doesn't matter, but let's field a team. Let's do that. And let's do that for the sportsmen because they work really hard. Yeah. Let's go to point number two, providing comprehensive plan for retired sportspersons. I really like this. I would really like to rate this around 6 or 7. Okay. It's going to be cost to the government. And here there is absolutely no clarity. The reason why I say 6 or 7, there's no real clarity as to is there going to be a pension scheme for retired sportsmen? What levels of sportsmen are we talking about? Are we talking about state levels? Are we talking about international players? A player who has at least represented once, or at least represented 10 times, or at least represented 5 times? We don't know that clarity. And from the sports industry point of view, why I would like more clarity in these sections is because I really want to know. Just use another page. You have built a 70-page document. 71 pages is not going to hurt you by just giving more clarity. you know just give a little bit more clarity as to how are you going to support them. What kind of pension schemes are you having for these retired sports persons? Are you giving any kind of support in terms of education? What education support? What kind, like, are you giving a scholarship? And who are you giving those scholarship to? Are you giving a scholarship to anybody who has at least represented India once? Fantastic. Say, I'm going to give a 2 lakh scholarship to anyone who has at least represented India once. That motivates a lot of people to work harder to represent India once. And 2 lakh scholarship for what? Maybe a PGDM program. Let's go for that. There are so many good universities, good, not university, I won't call them universities, but good programs in sports management, in developing these sportsmen, giving them opportunities to work, training them in entrepreneurship. There are a lot of good programs. Employment opportunities, are you guaranteeing them a job? And who are you guaranteeing again, that's a question, right? Promotion opportunities, what is promotion? I don't even understand this. Yeah, okay, you're already working in a government sector, you play sports, you don't do the government work, you play sports for the government's that organization, and just because you won a tournament you get promoted. Really not worthy is, I mean, you don't know how to do the job, right? So again, you're building more and more incompetency there. All right. You're not educating them. You're just creating some promotion opportunities by participating, and they have to participate on their own accord. They have to spend their own money. They have to participate on their own accord. And then after that, yeah, maybe they get a promotion from a 30,000 rupee salary to a 40,000 rupee salary. And what good is going to have for them? So very vague, absolutely vague. I like the direction, but a very, very vague concept overall. All right. And this is going to be a trend in the BJP manifesto because a lot of things are very vague. All right. Going to the third point, including more traditional sports under Khelo India. I like this point. I'll rate it 8 out of 10. All right. I think more sports, traditional sports should be a part of the culture. I really want it to be. And given the success of Kho and Kabaddi, we should get more sports like this because we are good at this. We understand this. There's a lot of local community, ground level, village community that
Oh,
engages in these sports.
I think nobody is even
Yeah.
looking at village sports. Like, look at the community village sports that we actually have. I mean, we've done a whole series of indigenous Indian sports and village sports, and fabulous. I think it's been wonderful for us to just kind of know this is the kind of stuff that's actually out there.
Yeah, yeah, there should be. And in fact, because of the success of these two sports, I think more sports will gain that success. The more people engage in it, the more they will actually enjoy. And starting from the local community, like look at all. There's so many people even in the big cities now picking up these sports, right? It's
Yeah, but
fantastic. I think
you
eight
need
out
you
of
need
ten.
an organization probably. Again, see, a lot of that is going to come down to how it is executed. Like you have the example of Tagra Raho, which is taking in the traditional workout and making it,
Yeah,
you know, seem so fancy, like going out there in the gym and using the Akhara style of workout, which is absolutely fantastic. So again, it all comes to repackaging and rebranding everything that we have just to make it fancier. Probably either it's for the new gen that's coming in or just to be at par with international sporting communities. I don't know what it is, but it's just that somewhere, yes, it's not performed in the exact traditional way that it really used to be. Neither can it continue to perform in the same way. There has to be a lot of advancement, and which is where I think this tech comes in, right? Your sports tech comes in, where they will be able to elevate these village sports and indigenous sports into playable for current population and at par with, say, esports and at par with the highly tech footballs and crickets and basketballs of the world, where tech is completely taken over to the extent that we've even got into big fan parks and fan whatever, everything. This is so nascent right now. It's like, if we even talk about it, it's like literally like, what are you guys even talking about? Like, where are you? Which century are you in right now?
yeah, yeah. True, true. Well, I think, yeah, I think overall, this point is great. How are they gonna, as you rightly said, execution? It comes down to that. Um, are they going to list out some sports? There's nothing clear over here. But I think they could have taken another sentence and just listed out five sports that they want to promote for this campaign the next 5 years and sort of build a community over them. I think it wouldn't have taken much more about their already extensive manifesto phase. But I can also understand why they don't go deeper into it, because nobody has broken it down like this the way we're doing it today. All right. And I think this is
Perhaps, and
necessary.
I would just like to give it to them in a way, a benefit of doubt here, because I know you're completely going to tear them off. But my thing here is that, look at us. We are such a huge country. We are so diverse. I mean, everything becomes political and everything becomes cultural, and then everything becomes minority and majority and everywhere. When, how are you going to identify? And this is my take. Like, where will you identify those five spots unless you really do extensive research? Where, let's say, a kabaddi is played across the length and breadth of India, and hence it's a popular sport. But if you're looking at, let's say, Malakam, you're looking at, martial arts of different forms that are practiced across. And I say, I'm going to pick the one which is so popular in the East because it's like, wow, and everyone should play it. And then you have somebody heads up from the South saying, no, but why not mine? Uh, we come from that kind of a country, right? It's not easy. It's not easy to pick things out without really having to ruffle not a few, but all the feathers that are across and all the feathers that are around, right? How do you pick? There is so much of
What is the
work
sports ministry
required
for?
to do in depth.
What is the sports ministry for? What are they doing?
Ah,
Why are
but
they wasting
then,
their time?
which is why you will talk about it, and which is why I'm saying, like, poor guys, give
Yes.
them that space, and then you come back and say, okay, so where is the ministry? What are the guys doing? What are the seats they're sitting on? Where are the associations?
What is Anurag Thakur doing? He should do something. He should do this research. He should have a team to do this research. What is he doing? He's wasting his
Yeah.
time. He's wasting everybody's time. So I would not even get involved into this kind of a conversation that it's difficult to figure out. I would say that, hey, figure something out, give some clarity, give, pick two sports. Next 5 years, we're going to make these two sports big. Fine, fantastic. Go ahead with it, man. I will support you. But do something. Look at the next one, incentivizing sports goods manufacturing. All right. We will incentivize sports goods manufacturing in partnership with the sports ecosystem in Bharat to take forward the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Fantastic. I would clap to it. What a great vision. Now let me break something down for you. Sports goods manufacturing, sports goods, they pay 12% GST. Sports equipment, apart from shoes and fishing equipment, pay 28% GST, 10% more than the regular GST amount. And this is your promise for the, you should have done it by now. This is a 0 on 10. 0 on 10. You're not going to do anything. All right. If you had the intent, you would have done it by now. All right. Why do shoes have to pay 12% GST? You want to incentivize people to buy shoes. You want to incentivize people to be more fit. You want to incentivize your entire nation to be fit. Make it 0, make it 3%, make it 2%. Let people buy shoes at a cheaper cost. They can afford it. 85% of the country earns less than 15,000 rupees. Why can't they afford a 600 to 700 rupee shoe if there is lesser GST? How will companies be incentivized to make those shoes? Pointless. And this is where my problem comes from. It is fake bullshit that has been written over here. All right. Universal access to sports infrastructure. We will continue to expand the Khelo India network and other initiatives to nurture future athletes who can represent our nation with pride. Tagline, universal access to sports infrastructure. Infrastructure. Definition, they want to expand the tournament. Great. Where is the infrastructure? In Gujarat, in your whatever that Olympic city that you're making there, that is the infrastructure where youth from all across the country would flock there to come and participate and to try to nurture their talent. No, it is a mismatch. This is a 0. This is an absolute 0. All right. If you give universal access to sports infrastructure, you need to make infrastructure accessible. How are you going to do that? By micro infrastructure, multi-sport micro infrastructure, which will not cost more than 1 CR, 1.2 CR in every locality, at least target 3 or 4 sports in that much amount. I have made those infrastructure. I come from the infrastructure setting up business. I know how much it costs. At the best price, I can give you 4 sports for 1.2 CR. Best price. All right. You make, forget about every district in India. You incentivize that, let us fund 100 such infrastructure, 100 crores. Get you a better price. I'll reduce at 0.2. Yeah. 100 crores. 100 crores. 100 cities. Free to use, top quality infrastructure. But we don't even have to make it free to use. We can also sort of incentivize other sports companies to take up that infra. I was a part of an Inflection Point Ventures pitch. One of those companies was Machaxi, based out of Bangalore. Machaxi is taking up infrastructure and managing them. They're giving a fixed revenue to the infrastructure owner. Machaxi will give the government a fixed revenue. Partner with private companies. These startups, you talk about startups, you're coming to the next point. I'm going to break them down badly. Okay. These startups.
You have 5 minutes for startups.
Yeah, 5 minutes. No, I'll take only 30 seconds. Promote sports startups. We will promote startups in sports and help create technology ecosystem in sports. I love it. How? No clue. Why? No clue. Where? No clue. Take 4 hours of your time. do some research and put three sentences more, that which areas will you support startups in? Will you support startups in infrastructure like Machaxi, who is doing infra management, or Push Sports that is doing infra development, or you want to do tech startups like, for example, Anjali Bhagwat's company, which is Fandook, which is revolutionizing the way people take up shooting. Are you going to support them in some way? There are so many ways in which you can support startups. You can just add two or three more sentences to give more clarity on how are you going to go about it. These, in according, so if I have to start from the top, right? Facilitating hosting Olympics, 4. Providing comprehensive plan for retired sportsmen, 6. Including more traditional sports, 8. Incentivizing good manufacturing, 0. Universal access to sports infrastructure, 0. Promoting sports startups, 0. All right. This is my breakdown of the BJP manifesto. I think it's absolutely pathetic that if they have built a 71-page manifesto, they could have easily added half a page more, giving a little bit more clarity on how they want to do this. And the only reason why these political parties do this is because nobody's questioning them. This is the first time. This is our video is the first video we are breaking down the sports section of a manifesto. There is no video before this. And that is why I feel like they should take notice of this, and they should probably next time, whenever the next election is in 2029, they should take cognizance of this, and they should sort of, and I'm not gonna stop. This is a start. This is a start. Initially, I thought about it, but I couldn't keep track of what they did from 2019 to 2024. Now I'm going to keep a track from 2024 to 2029 and see how these things have progressed. Let's come to Congress, huh? No, no better, by the way. All right. Let's come
We
to
will, we
Congress.
will, we will, we will save the Congress for the next recording. In this one, we definitely summarize what SENTHIL has.
This is part one. All right. This is part one, guys. Great stuff.
This is part
Well
one
done.
for what we have. Of course, um, from a very passionate sports person's point of view, who wants clarity, who wants to understand, who wants to know more, why in 70 pages I've been giving one, why haven't I been given 1.5? All of these are always going to be there. But the good thing around here, and like Senthil also really mentioned, is that no one is really talking about it. And I think sometimes you just need a little more voice, asking for a little more than what you're actually getting, because and we believe that everyone's out here to do good for the country, and we are all looking here to get together to do good for the country. So maybe take these conversations forward, maybe look at probably something that may have been overlooked, or something that really could have been there in their workbooks but not put out there. Maybe they were waiting for SENTHIL to just bring it up and say, ask the question and we will give you the answer. So there has to be somebody out there even asking the questions, right? Because there is everything there out there in your textbook, which is really, you're really not answering each one of them. So I'm very sure this is a gist. This is just a summary of everything that's there. There is a lot more that happens behind the doors that we don't know about. But yes, we are out here. We are asking the questions. Always open to know more from people who know more, right? And from people who are sitting out there talking about it, making the policies, interacting with people on a daily basis, who have the resources, who have the power.
We would love to. We would love to have someone from the policy framework perspective also to come and say why they have just put these sentences and why there is not much of clarity on, how they're going to execute it. Yeah, we would love to have someone on board. If you are
Absolutely.
one of those
So
people,
please do come
please
around. Let's talk. And yeah, it's just really having engaging, meaningful conversations with voices that can be heard, with voices that do have an opinion to make a difference, with voices that can create some kind of a thought process which could be taken forward. Like we all know now that SENTHIL is going to sit and he's going to statistically monitor everything that's happening from the 2024 to the 2029.
20.
He is going to be one of those voices, and if there is anybody who requires reference, can always come back to him, ask him. He's there for his opinion. I will always very diplomatically be trying to make the conversation very viewable for everybody out here. So thank you, but thank you so much for tuning in. We are definitely doing the next one. We are looking at the Congress Manifesto next in the next video, which this one's out there, and let's talk about it. And thank you so much. And SENTHIL, you could sign yourself off.
Thank you. You can always reach us at Go Beyond Sports. You can reach us at Sports Sustainment. And I would really like to engage with all of you and understand from your perspective if I'm in the right direction, if you have better options and better ideas. Reach out to us and let's make ourselves heard. We are part of the sports industry and we should work towards developing this industry much better with better policies and better engagement. Thank you so much, guys. Take care.
Yeah.